Wes, it's great to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Ken. Great to see you as well.
What do you see as the biggest opportunities for grocers today?
It's interesting. I'm seeing investments that were very heavy in supply chain and inventory management and fulfillment that has gone on for years, now starting to work closer towards the customer. So investments that are coming in around data science to know the customer better personalize the experience to them, and then better differentiate the value prop from a retailer to a customer.
Where do you see personalization going?
But, you know, it's interesting. I feel like it's turning the clock back 100 years when the store manager used to know the customer, knew them by name, knew the family of the kids. Now we're doing that through data science. And so how can you know me, know my interests, know what I like, and make my shopping experience easier, but do it through technology?
It's almost like the AI can help us be that store manager that can know everybody.
That's exactly it. Today, a store manager is dealing with labor and shrink and fulfillment and out of stocks, and the job has become so complex that technology is now enabling to return back to that core focus of how do I take care of the individual customer and give them a personalized service.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for retailers in terms of pricing is today?
Today, there's such a differentiation in the market between the low-cost operators, and we see this as Aldi begins to grow its market share, the continued price investments we're seeing from Walmart, and then those who are looking to differentiate experientially. It leaves a very messy middle in which the value proposition has to be right on price, but it's got to be right in the right way as part of their go-to-market strategy. And so it's going to be a continual focus as they look for the right mix of margin to be able to make those strategic investments in e-commerce and their technology platform. So that critical balance to be competitive in the environment, but then also fund the type of long-term investments you need is probably a higher pressure point now than it's been in the last 10 years.
We're in the stores all the time, we're seeing more retailers have health attributes on the shelf today.
Yes.
Where do you see that trend going, the health, that combination of health and grocery?
It will come into more and more play. So we're constantly looking at data and mining that data in terms of how does attributes make a consumer's behavior influence in terms of both their planning process and then their at the shelf decision making. And customers want to be smarter about their decision making. This is actually the first generation where the kids are teaching their parents how to cook. So as the younger generation evolves up, they're reading the labels, they're looking for it, they're making life choices because of that. It will greatly influence how you assort, how you merchandise, and how you price to be relevant in those specific areas of your assortment strategy.
Do you envision that at some point there'll be an app that'll help you know what products to buy?
Very much so, both in terms of how to shop, and then even from a marketing standpoint, what we do at Catalina is we've taken third-party attribute data and we've fused it with POS data from retailers to start to look at the why behind the buy. Why is a consumer making that choice and decision? What becomes very interesting is it's not about targeting because they're a category buyer or they're loyal to private label. It's because they may need gluten-free because they may have a child who has celiac. And so are you effectively communicating to them the type of assortment strategy you have as you begin to look at those health-related trends there? So it's a lot of disruption that technology can help educate the conversation with the customer as we get smarter behind what drives the decision.
And we believe, very aligned with you, we believe that the personalized health and personalized pricing, combining those two, is going to be the magic.
It truly will. It's actually one of the most exciting things that I think about, and where I start rolling through is the applications both in the story that you're able to tell to the customer itself, but then how it will change the way a retail operator functions. How do I outlay my stores? What's sitting at eye level? I've seen in my travels over in Europe recently where some retailers are now putting the most healthiest related products at eye level to the customers, and those in which they deem have higher salt, higher sugar, less healthy options are now finding the less premium placement at shelf edge.
What retailers are doing that?
A couple over in Europe that we looked at, and then also one in Japan that we saw is testing it right now. But I thought it was so interesting because the retailer's model of that real estate has always been about revenue generation. The premium brands command the premium locations within the shelf assortment, and now it's listening to what the needs of the customer are as a driver in that shelf allocation.
Yep.
So I'm waiting to see if tests will become mainstream as people pilot through it, but it's really aligning with where the customer conversation is starting to drive to. Very customer-centric, demand-driven approach.